Hello, everyone. We are going to get started in just a little bit. If the candidates would please meet me over in that corner so that I can just review the process, and then we will get started. If everybody would like to start going to their seats, we're almost at 6:30. I'd like to get started. Thank you for your patience. I think, yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And I especially want to thank the candidates for agreeing to participate because, hello, we wouldn't have an event if they weren't here. So thank you very much for being willing to come and talk to the voters. I also want to say a special thanks to Rich Schmidt, the pastor at Living Hope Church, for allowing us to use this venue. It is very much appreciated. Believe it or not, it's hard to find a place to do something like this in Valpo, especially without paying an arm and a leg, and we're not profits, so thank you, Rich. We appreciate the help. My name is Becky Guffin, and I am the president of the League of Women Voters of Porter County. A little bit about the League of Women Voters. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We've been around for about 103 years, and during that time we have advocated for voters' rights, voter education, and of course, registering people to vote, registering citizens to vote. The purpose of the League is to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation in government and to act on selected governmental issues. The League shall not support or oppose any political party or any candidate. We are committed to doing what we were founded to do, stand up for what is right, and support legislation that advances voting rights. Okay, so candidate list. You all should have a list of the candidates. These are all the candidates that are on the ballot for the municipal election. If you don't have one and you want one, we have some volunteers walking around. Just raise your hand and they will give you one. This is the order in which they will be speaking. Now, not all candidates were able to be here tonight. Matt Murphy is not going to be here. Diana Reed didn't think she was going to be able to be here, but her husband is here, and he just told me that she's in town. She didn't think she'd be back from Indy, but it looks like she probably will be here. She just might be speaking out of order. Lori Simon from District 1. Diana Reed's from District 1, too. Lori Simon from District 1 is out of town. She had an event in Chicago. Holly Taylor, who is running for clerk treasurer, is on vacation. And then Jack Papillo from District 4 was intending to come, and then he emailed me this morning and said that he was sick. Daughter had a fever and a sore throat, and unfortunately, he caught it. So, but everyone else is here and present. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to present their platform and why they are running. They will, like I said, they will speak in the order on the sheet. Council candidates going first, mayoral candidates going last. We ask that you hold your applause until the end. This is being live streamed on our Facebook page, League of Women Voters of Porter County. And then the recording will stay on our Facebook page for future viewing if you know someone that wants to watch this. At the end, we have refreshments, and we encourage you to stay and network with the candidates. So with that, we will have our first candidate, and that is Emily Hunt. She is running for council at large. I guess you can clap when they come up. That's all right. It just seems kind of not doing it. Here, there you go.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Becky. My name's Emily Hunt, and as Becky said, I'm running for city council at large. I've lived in Valpo for the past 10 years with my partner and our 2 kids. We consider Valpo our chosen home. It's where we chose to raise our family. It's where we chose to plant our roots, and it's where we chose to invest in our future. And we made that choice because we believe Valpo's the best. But sometimes the best can do better. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this important event, but also the residents of Valpo who came out tonight, because ultimately it's your voice that matters. And hopefully tonight you'll get a good idea of who here best represents that voice. Municipal issues at their core are a nonpartisan issue. We all want the same things: safe streets, safe schools, and stable taxes. But it's how we get there and how we got here that sets us apart. I didn't plan to be here. This wasn't part of my goal. I don't have family or friends who sit on council or in any other elected position. Politics doesn't run in my blood. I'm a voter who believes we can do better. Some candidates might tell you about their business experience, yet just this year, taxpayers have experienced a 60% increase in trash rates with simultaneous reduction in services. I don't like that business plan. We can do better. Our current administration is hyper-focused on rapid, high-cost development without assuring our city services can keep up. Taxpayers shouldn't have to foot the bill for poor planning. We can do better. Instead of addressing perpetual traffic and water issues, our current council spent taxpayer time and money drafting an unenforceable ordinance. Taxpayers don't need lip service, they need public service. We can do better. By day, I'm an estate planning and Medicaid planning attorney. My job requires me to consider all scenarios, oftentimes the worst case scenarios, and draw up plans based on that. When I'm not representing clients, I'm unapologetically advocating for the safety of our children. I co-founded a local gun violence prevention group. From someone who's looked in the eyes of parents who have lost their children to unsecured loaded firearms, do not let anyone tell you that this isn't a local issue. From a state where suicide is the second leading cause of death for our teens, do not let anyone tell you this isn't a local issue. I've worked with local police departments, sheriff departments, and schools throughout Northwest Indiana to ensure safe storage messaging is being distributed and best practices for lockdown drills. It's my goal to make sure our community is not just responding to gun violence, but also preventing gun violence. I'm an advocate, I'm an attorney, and I'm also just a voter who started paying attention, who started asking questions and who didn't hear her voice, and who's ready to do better. Thanks so much for having me.
Our next candidate is Ellen Capitan, who is also running for council at large. And one thing I forgot to mention is on the back side of that is a map of where your city districts are in case you need a reminder.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for having me tonight. I am thrilled to be here speaking with you all about my candidacy for Valparaiso City Council at large. My name is Ellen Capitan, and I've been in Valparaiso for 7 years now. My passions in the community are environmental stewardship, historic preservation, pedestrian safety, transparent and accessible government, and equitable opportunities. I am a CASA volunteer. I serve on the Porter County Museum Foundation Board. I am the president of the Central Neighborhood Association, and I'm a fourth-year president of South Shore Roller Derby. I currently work in administration for the Recycling and Waste Reduction District of Porter County. So, what makes good government? For me, government is engagement, it's listening, it's understanding and responding to your voters and to your residents. It's a culture of understanding and listening to public comment. Good government is boldly improving life for all. It's taking care of what we already have, and it's making a better life for all of us. It's addressing crumbling infrastructure and not annexing property at a taxpayer's expense. When I hear talk about a riverfront district, I think about the flooding streets just down the road in all the downtown neighborhoods. When I hear people talk about public safety, I think of all the dangerous intersections, Bonta, Central, Jesse Pfeiffer, and the lack of proper painting on those crosswalks. And when I'm asking about that, I get told it's too cold to paint those crosswalks. We have people that are pro-business, but what I see is a handful of minority-owned and operated businesses downtown that are no longer there to make room for parking. When I hear about a vibrant downtown, I think of the beautiful 120-year-old sewing shop that was torn down for 28 parking spots. This current definition of growth is not sustainable. We need more people on council asking questions like, where are the good paying jobs? Where are the meeting minutes? When is that committee meeting again? And how do I attend it? 2023, this election year, is an opportunity to show each other what diverse backgrounds and perspectives can bring to city leadership. It's time to recognize, and it's time to engage, and it's time to be part of something bigger and a bigger and better community. Join me. Let's boldly embrace the future while remaining a steward to the qualities and traditions that make our home in Valparaiso unique. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Michelle Harris, who is also running for council at large.
Hi, I'm Michelle Harris. Normally I don't speak with a microphone. I'm a teacher at Valparaiso High School, so I'm used to having to be really loud without much attention, so this is great. I moved to Valparaiso 15 years ago. I was a single mom, raising my daughter, who at the time was just 2 years old. And it was tough. And one of the reasons that I came to Valparaiso was because it had a lot of opportunities for me as a single mom with my daughter. We were at the Y for daycare. We were able to go to parks. We were able to do things downtown. And we had a really nice, affordable apartment, especially in comparison to Lake County, where I moved from. So I've been in Valparaiso for 15 years. When my daughter went to kindergarten, I went to grad school at VU. I have a master's in secondary ed education. I've been teaching for over 10 years, and now I teach freshman English at the high school. I also sit on my Temple board, Temple Israel here in Valparaiso, and my main passion is clearly teaching. I think that is the pulse of our community to make sure our schools are safe, that we have quality education, that we have a great community that people want to live in, that people want to come to, and that people want to stay in. I know that our schools, I think it is the biggest employer in the city, and I think it would be fantastic to have teacher representation sitting on our city council. So thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate being able to come out and talk to you guys.
Was it so hard? Well, let's see. Matt is not here. Did Diana Reed slip in? She did. Oh, she did. Do you want to? Sure, that's fine. Okay, all right. Next is Bob Cotton, who is running for Council District 2.
Hello. All right, don't start the clock yet. Don't start the clock yet. I had to script myself so that I could actually get some points out that I didn't want to forget. But I was introduced to Valparaiso in around 1968 when my mother described it as a place of promise, a place that in a comparable way reminded me of the immigrant view of the United States itself, a place where a single parent, 6 children, could move her family, raise 6 children, dream big, and realize our dreams. I will work to keep the Valpo promise alive and well. My name is Robert Cotton, and I am running for re-election in the 2nd Councilmanic District. For those of you who don't already know me, or for those of you who do know me, you know that every voice counts, means more to me than a slogan. I listen to you, and I've demonstrated that I'll always respond accordingly to your concerns and opinions. My commitment to good governance is unwavering. And as well, now it appears, against the unintended forces of a gentrifying development. Gentrifying development forces that, if left unchecked, would presume to transform Valpo into a far less accessible place for a vast majority of Valparaisians. Valparaisians is what I said here. Entrenched majorities do not even want to know what they don't know. However, there are things that they need to know if they are going to truly have a representative role with regard to all of the population in Valparaiso. I'm concerned that a non-diverse handful of guys decided that they would collectively use our treasure, to rebuild our city in such a way as to cater to the taste of well-heeled folks who don't know what Valpo is all about at all. It's wrong in the misuse of our tax dollars to facilitate concentrated development on the high end of the market in a way that is analogous to the game of Monopoly. If you've ever played Monopoly, you know that if you only concentrate your toolbox on Boardwalk and Park Place with hotels, then everything else on the board, it's game over for you. The game is literally over if, in fact, the only development is on the high end. We have to use our toolbox, your treasure, in a far more balanced way to make certain that these unintended consequences of affordability and neglect, if you will. I mean, somebody gave me a 10-page list of items that she had collected that were problems in that first district. I won't mention the name, but nevertheless, you know, we have to stop, and this is what an old Republican friend of mine told me the other day. We must stop masquerading crony capitalism as if it were actually the free market capitalism at work, you know? I said, well, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to put Valparaiso first. And what I do, as I have demonstrated, it's not over yet, is it? Is it over? Oh, no. It's okay. But anyway.
Sorry, Bob. Got to be fair. Diana, are you ready to go now, or you want another? Okay, Diana Reed from Council District 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. I want to first thank all of you for being here and being part of this process and for being engaged in your community. My name is Diana Reed. I am a teacher and local union leader at Union Township Teachers Association. I am seeking a third term in representing District 1 on the Valparaiso City Council. And so I just came back from Indianapolis. I was there lobbying the legislators, and we were being disruptors, trying to better the standings of our public schools. And while I was there, I did have a conversation with Senator Charbonneau, and I do believe that they are working on improving the budget so that more of our public schools get funding than what was originally proposed. I know the House had a plan out there that our goal is that hopefully the Senate one will go through. We still have other matters that we're working on, but I just got back from Indy. So 38 years ago, Valparaiso became my home when I moved here after graduating from Ball State University, where I met the love of my life, Paul. He's an architect here in the community and a lifetime resident of Valparaiso. Amazingly, his childhood home is in District 1, which is where we settled and made our home as well, where we raised our two children, Grant and Claire. We purchased a late 1800s home and have been busy restoring it. When we first moved into the community, we had little old ladies that were surrounding us, and it was a great little neighborhood. And since that time, it has changed. Our neighborhood has transitioned to where we have homes that were broken up into small units, and it wasn't the same. And we had residents that were moving in. Many of them were for the university, and they were there just for a year at a time. And many of the students that we had been wonderful, but we had some temporary students that were living there that were not as great. And so I began speaking out and speaking up about the need to make some changes in our community. And over the years, we had I had many calls with the police department and had tried to see if we could get some changes as a nuisance ordinance, and it finally did come to fruition, which has improved our community greatly. I met with VU and city leadership as well, and with the city police, and through persistence progress we made, there were changes, there were ongoing awareness of the problem, and with that ordinance it passed, it improved our neighborhood greatly. I think I already said that. I'm sorry, it was a long drive. As a sitting city council member, I find it most rewarding. Thank you all for coming. And I would be glad to have further conversation later on. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. We will now have Maddie Whaling, who's running for Council District 2. Thanks.
Thank you so much. First, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting the event, Living Hope Church for being the venue for tonight, and also those that currently serve on City Council for the noble work that you do. I would agree that we probably at a municipality level agree on a lot of the same type of stuff that we want to focus in on. Tonight, I'd just like to focus in on sharing with you a little bit about myself as well. I'm a lifelong resident of Valparaiso, Indiana. For clarity, it is on my license, Maddie. It's not an affectionate name. My mom, 84-year-old mom, is Irish Catholic, so I am Maddie. So that's where I get that from. I'm born and raised here. My mom, after my dad died, raised 5 beautiful kids on a cashier's wage at Town and Country. And I married my beautiful high school sweetheart. We'll have 30 years next year. We raised 2 kids in this community over the Butterfield and Costas administration. So we've had an opportunity to see the growth and how the city's evolved. And I think there's opportunity to streamline a lot of things that we do. My experience is in RSD, Regional Sales Director in sales. So I've done multiple roles in terms of sales, finance, third-party oversight, policy, working for our company as we work with the government. And so I have a passion for that. Personally, we were blessed to raise 2 children. Maddie's going to IU. She'll be graduating this year. We had a son, Keegan, who we lost 5 years ago, and that's where I get the inspiration for what I do. This community during several times has wrapped their arms around us, and I feel compelled to wrap my arms around the community as well and take my skills and experience to work collaboratively. The work that I do imparts that you actually have to work really hard to work and manage across the spectrum, and show collaboration to get things done. And that's what I'll promise on that, on the same issues that I think we all discuss. The other thing that we also talk about too is the fact that, despite differences, we need people that show the passion and the commitment to people. And so my commitment is to learn, listen, and listen a little bit more so that we really dig deeper. I don't know that I have a path forward, but I have a commitment to listen, to find out what we need to do to make this a community that we all live and respect in and want our kids to be and grow up in and pass that on to generations. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I welcome the opportunity to serve you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, our next candidate is Barb Domer, and she is running for Council District 3. And Barb's gonna...
Thank you to the League of Women Voters. Again, my name is Barbara Domer, and I'm a candidate for the primary election to earn the spot on the Democrat general election ticket for City Council in District 3. I've been a Valparaiso resident for 33 years. I'm a professional accountant with governmental accounting experience, and I am an active member of the League of Women Voters of Porter County. I became interested in city government when I discovered the city hired a consultant to draw the most recent district maps. The consultant was the Indiana Speaker of the House of Representatives in 2011, when the legislative body which he led approved the state of Indiana district maps, which were gerrymandered so extremely as to result in a Republican supermajority in the State House. The process for selecting and approving the consulting contract lacked transparency, and my trust in city government eroded. Oh, and I submitted a map for free while the city paid the consultant $50,000 to draw the map. I want to represent you in City Council because the City Council controls the checkbook, and who better than to keep checks and balances on city government than an accountant, and that's me. I want to participate in making this great city a more affordable and safer community which welcomes all people. I can no longer watch as the Republican Party dictates the majority of legislation and spending in this city. There are roughly equal numbers of Democrats and Republicans and many independent voters in this city, We need equal representation, and we need more Democrats on city council. It's time we hold the city accountable and never lose sight of the need for a more balanced and representative city government. There's a disconnect between the priorities of the Republican majority city council and the needs of the residents of our city. While the city council focuses on high-profile projects like the new sports complex, the residents I am speaking to want their tax dollars used to repair crumbling streets, sidewalks, and curbs in their neighborhoods. And they want ADA-compliant improvements to the existing neighborhood parks so that all residents have access to our beautiful city parks. My top priorities are infrastructure, city government, and civic engagement. I will fight for increased funding to pave roads, to timely paint stripes on repaved roads, and repairs to sidewalks and curbs. I will be accountable to residents by sharing information in an open, honest, consistent, and dependable way. Vote for me, and I promise to work hard every day to serve you. I will listen to you. Thank you.
Our next candidate for Council District 3 is Drew Wanger.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, Wanger. I
Wanger.
didn't get his
You got it
last
right.
name in there. I know
My name is Drew Wanger, and I am running for Valparaiso's 3rd City Council District. I am a small business owner. I operate a residential real estate appraisal firm here in town with a couple of employees. And I'm running for City Council because I believe now more than ever, at a time of extreme polarization and political stagnation, is the moment for young, bold, and unapologetic leadership to take the helm. I've lived in the city my entire life. 8 years ago, I became active in the civic community. In 2016, I was offered the opportunity to chair a previously established Democratic club. Didn't know exactly what I was doing, but with a dedicated group of people, we hit the ground running and we reforged into the Valparaiso Democratic Committee. Under my leadership, we grew and we grew. People began to take notice, and in 2019, myself and several other Democrats ran against the Republican candidates, and we came close to an upset. Several of us losing by a few percentage points despite being outspent 6-1 and running against a Republican machine that had dominated the city council and the mayoral seat for 16 years. In 2021, I became the chairman of the Porter County Democratic Committee. I worked tirelessly, with both sides of the aisle to allow voters in Porter County to vote at any single polling location on Election Day. I stepped down from that position in 2022, seeking to better directly impact the community that has given me such a rewarding life, this one. Even though this is my second time running for this office, in many respects it feels like I'm starting fresh. I believe the reason for that is because after years of throwing myself into the gladiatorial ring over and over again, I've come out on the other side with a brand new perspective. You see, we're not so different, you and I. I've come to respect and admire many of the Democrats, all the Democrats on our ballot, and many of the Republicans as well. And I believe that if we were truly wanting to see the heights of Valparaiso, we're going to have to work with people that we have fundamental disagreements with to make it happen. The overall problem I see, truthfully, is that the Republican apparatus in Valparaiso is too closely tied to a downstate development machine that is missing the mark and leaving working-class people in the dust in the pursuit of making the city into a cheap Fisher's carbon copy. We're paving over small businesses, people's homes, and our history for development deals that don't even happen and housing developments that are pricing out the people that already live here. We must fix this now before it's too late. I believe I'm the strongest candidate because I get things done, and I've been fighting to set the course of the city straight for close to a decade. I have the trust of the people who know me. That's why State Senator Rodney Pohl Jr., a man I deeply admire, has endorsed me. And I have a professional background that gives me insight into how best we can shift our development in a new direction that leaves nobody behind. If elected, I will work with Democrats or Republicans to reinvest into our forgotten established neighborhoods. I've already been doing that for the last 6 years by leading the efforts in Jesse Pfeiffer neighborhood to bring $65,000 into that neighborhood through the city's grant program. And finally, I will work to... Okay.
I got it. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
3 minutes sometimes seems like a long time, and then other times it's just not a lot. When you're doing it, it doesn't seem like as much. Our next candidate is Harry Peterson. He's also running in Council District 3.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. My name is Harry Peterson. I'm a deputy prosecuting attorney in Porter County, and I currently serve on the Valparaiso City Council. Okay, sorry. I'm a deputy prosecuting attorney in Porter County, and I currently serve on Valparaiso City Council. I am running for Valparaiso City Council District 3. I am running for City Council because I love my job, and I want to continue to serve the people of Valparaiso. When I was 18 years old, one of my best friends died. That summer, we had a fundraiser in Central Park here in Valpo, and the funds raised at that fundraiser would be used to send a high school student, give a scholarship to seek higher education. The lasting feelings I have from helping out on that day are working for something larger than myself and for a cause that benefits the community. Those two things have led me to where I am today, to do good for others and to do it to the best of my ability. I'm a 20-year resident of Valparaiso. I graduated Valparaiso High School in 2011. I graduated Purdue University and Valparaiso University Law School. As a deputy prosecutor in Porter County, I've prosecuted offenses ranging from drunk driving, child molesting, rape, and most recently murder. I've made thousands of difficult decisions that have had impacts on every case I've handled. I'm the president of the Porter County Bar Association and previously served as the vice president of Indiana Dunes Tourism Board, which is its main focus to bring tourism to Porter County. I serve on the Valparaiso Plan Commission. I am a member of St. Paul's Church and a member of Valparaiso Noon Kiwanis. My priorities as a city council member: public safety, safety from danger, police, emergency, fire. City services, to continue to provide excellent services, trash and recycling, leaves, keeping the city clean, repaving roads and sidewalks, keep our parks beautiful and clean, and to provide these services with smart spending and efficient government services. I'm so fortunate to have grown up in Valparaiso, in this community, our wonderful schools. Personally, I say the continuing goal of bettering yourself is the best goal a person can have. I have always set out to be better today than we were yesterday. The same is true about government and planning for the future of Valparaiso. Let's keep Valparaiso great. Thank you to the League of Women Voters, this wonderful church, and Pastor Schmidt, and thank you all for attending tonight.
Our next candidate is Lance Raphael, and he is running for Council District 4. Stay down there.
That was a small step for man. So my name is Lance Raphael, spelled like the artist, the Ninja Turtle, or the Archangel. So my family and I moved here about 5 or so years ago to be close to my wife's family who grew up in this area in the region. I'll be running for 4th District City Council, but my background is not your typical politician. In fact, I sort of hate politicians because they tend to answer their constituents in vague half answers, and they never really want to take ownership or responsibility for any of their decisions. I come from a completely different background. While I've worked hand in hand with many governments over the last 25 years, it was through prosecuting companies and different municipalities and governments for Deceptive Business Practices Acts, consumer fraud, or constitutional violations. So for me, I didn't have to use the soft, comforting, conciliatory words of a politician with people. I told them what I wanted and made them do it if they were breaking the law. So in all, I have about 20, 25 years of experience in prosecuting these types of cases. I don't know. That background, I think, will assist me uniquely in Valparaiso with our current regime where we really need someone to watch the watchmen and determine that there is not the same type of cronyism or self-dealing that we've seen with some pet projects that involved tearing down local businesses that everyone liked and putting up a parking lot that, from my understanding, most of the parking spaces are going to be used for supplementing the apartment complex that hasn't been put in yet. So I want to be able to look at that. I want transparency and I want accountability brought back into our government, and I think I can help do that. Thank you.
As I said, Jack is ill, so is Carmen here? Okay, she thought she might be able to make it. I guess not. Okay, then we will skip down to Peter Anderson, who's running for Council District 5.
Good evening, and thank you for coming tonight. My name is Peter Anderson. I'm the current city councilman in District 5, which, if you're not sure where that's at, it's pretty much like the northeast part of town. I want to give you a little bit of background about my business life because it's gonna lead into why I'm on the city council and I'm running again. So I own Gelsosimo's Pizzeria in Crown Point, and when I first started my business, I think, if I'm being honest with myself, my goal was to sell pizza to make money. And if you've ever been in the restaurant business, you probably know that if you let it, a restaurant can chew you up and spit you out. And with that weak and simple of a goal, it did exactly that. I changed my mission to make a genuine and meaningful connection with my community through the art of pizza and hospitality. And let me just tell you that it ignited something in my soul and in my business. And we grew and we really drilled down on this idea that a little pizzeria could be a force for good in a community. So it really started to take off in Crown Point. So that kind of bled into my personal life where I live here in Valpo. To kind of keep with that same momentum, you know, I said, what can I do here in Valpo to have that same kind of fulfillment that I get from my business? And here we are. I ran for city council on the last term, got elected. I've really enjoyed my time at the city council. We've got some stuff done. I've cut my teeth. I've learned a little bit. So I wanted to mention one thing. There's 5 pillars of community. So we have the business community, we have education, we have the faith community, government, and nonprofits. So with that being said, I want to tell you a little bit about my resume. As well as being on the city council, I'm also on the Valpo Plan Commission. I'm on the board of directors at the YMCA. I'm on the board of the Valparaiso Nazarene Church, and I'm also the annual campaign chair for the funding initiative at the YMCA. Sorry, I kind of got lost here. Anyways, what I want to say is, with all those things that I'm involved in, I believe that it gives me a strong presence in those 5 pillars of the community, and it allows me to effectively lead and execute ideas that are important for our community. That's all I have. Thank you.
As I mentioned, Holly Taylor, who's running for clerk treasurer, is on vacation. So now we will move on to the candidates for mayor. John Costas.
I want to thank the League of Women Voters for organizing this event, and I want to recognize the candidates. It takes courage to run for public office, and the city will benefit from the many perspectives and views that will happen throughout this campaign. Selecting its mayor is perhaps the most important decision a community makes, because the mayor directs the many things that affect our lives on a daily basis. public safety, road condition, parks, park programs, ambulance, service, water, planning, economic development, sidewalks and pathways are among the many things that a mayor directs. Now, to be successful, the mayor must do two things well. First, he or she must know how to effectively run a large organization. The city has a combined $60 million annual budget and employs over 350 people. Second, the mayor must build strong bridges of understanding and trust between the city and its citizens. The city is not a business, it's a civic institution, and it works in partnership with its citizens. While there are 4 fine candidates seeking the mayor's office, I am the only one that brings a proven record of successfully leading larger organizations and building a strong public partnership of civic trust. When I was first elected mayor in 2003, Valparaiso was a far different city than we enjoy today. The downtown was on life support, the roads were in bad shape, many of the areas of the cities were run down, our police headquarters was outdated, we had no public transportation, no rainy day fund, few pathways, and can you believe it, not a single roundabout. But the Valparaiso we enjoy today is a tale of a different city. Beautiful, safe, sustainable, and vibrant. We are indeed the jewel of Northwest Indiana. So here are three of the many priorities I would bring to the mayor's office. First, I will strive to maintain the highest levels of safety in our city and our schools. Safety is the foundation for all we do. Our police and fire departments are models of professionalism and collaboration, and that would continue under Costas administration. Second, I would maintain and build upon our extraordinary city services. Whether it's trash collection, road maintenance, park programs, water service, or fun downtown events, we will deliver in a surprisingly responsive manner. Third, I will spend your hard-earned tax dollars carefully and prudently. We will continue to bring a creatively frugal approach to all we do. Keeping our tax rate low means our young people can afford homes and our seniors can thrive in the retirement years here in Valpo. I have always fostered a leadership style that is collaborative and inclusive. The divisive rhetoric and harsh words that often define our national political arena have no place in local governments. Civic renewal in America must begin at the local level. Valparaiso is a shining example of collaborative civil city engagement, and I will strive to lead in a way that builds on this most vital attribute. Thank you.
Our next candidate for mayor is Art Elwood.
Never let me hold the mic before. My name is Art Elwood, and I'm running for mayor. My experience with the city is I've served one 4-year term from 2008 to 2011. Recently, I've retired from the city where I worked for 32 years as a police officer and a firefighter. During my term on the city council, I made it a point to educate myself on everything. Local ordinance, appropriations, state, local, federal codes. I wasn't a yes man. Mayor Casas complimented me one time on the fact that I wasn't always easy to get along with. I'm running for the office of mayor for 3 main reasons. For the past 12 years, I've seen the TIF district keep going up and up and up, spreading. 34% of the city is in a TIF district. This amounts to over 42% of the actual taxes collected. The taxes from the TIF district are a type of discretionary fund with the Redevelopment Commission, who has 3 appointed members by the mayor, 1 appointed by the city council, and then we have a representative from the school. So I look at it as cronyism. I would like to see that change a little bit and have both parties represent the entire city, because there's both parties in the entire city. Those commission members and the mayor, they decide what projects will be done with these funds with very little public comment, which is another issue of mine. Restoring transparency. A few examples are restoring question and answers at the city segment at the city council meetings. I believe that the residents deserve answers. I have to tell you, I went to a city council meeting a year ago. I hadn't been there for a while. And when I was told they don't answer questions, I haven't returned. Aberdeen. We shouldn't have to open a newspaper and find out that the city is exploring annexation of Aberdeen and an undeveloped property for a 100-unit housing project that is not contiguous with the existing boundaries of the city. I also plan to represent the city Monday through Friday. My door will be open. Stop in. I'd like to explore an elected school board. That's not for only people sitting on the council to decide. I think it's for the residents to decide when we go to vote. At last, affordable housing. 2020 census reported the average annual income is $56,465, while the average annual single, that bell sounds familiar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Our next candidate is Hannah Trueblood. I'm sorry, Hannah, who's also running for mayor.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you everybody for being here. My name is Hannah Trueblood, and I am running on the Democratic ballot to be your next mayor of Valparaiso. I was born and raised here, and I'm currently raising my 2 children here. Now, I'm uniquely qualified for this position because I got an early start in community involvement. When I was 8 years old, I found out that there were kids that didn't have a home. I knew then that it was wrong, and I wanted to do something about it. So I did, and I've been doing something about it ever since. My generation has been out here advocating for our communities across the country on critical issues: domestic violence, homelessness, drug addiction, civil rights, and climate change, just to name a few. And we've been met with brick wall after brick wall after brick wall from our government. So, after 2 decades in the trenches, I am here to step up to the plate and write and pass the policies that we have been fighting for and that you all deserve. As a full-time real estate agent, I'm seeing the negative effects of these luxury high-rise developments and what they will continue to do to Valparaiso. Younger people are moving away. They can't afford to live here. And people that have been here for generations are being taxed out of their homes and moving away too. As it stands today, there is nothing available that a police officer on our police force can afford on their own. Now, there are some people that will tell you that our city is better when there are less desirable folks around, but I am here to tell you what in our hearts we all know to be true. And that is that when we have an inclusive and diverse community, we have a vibrant community. When our first responders, our teachers, and our nurses can live where they work, our neighborhoods are safer, our schools are stronger, and our economy thrives. When we invest in our future by prioritizing renewable resources and capitalizing on green spaces, our city thrives. When we work alongside small businesses and commercial building owners to make more spaces accessible and inclusive, our city thrives. When we preserve and protect our history that most of all people attribute Valpo's appeal to, our city thrives. When our governing body is ethical, honest, transparent, and without financial gain for the decisions being made, our city thrives. As your mayor, I will represent every single citizen, not just a select few. My focus will be on healthy, sustainable growth that benefits all people. I will not only listen and value different perspectives, I will encourage and invite more people to the table where the decisions are being made. I will use my voice and my platform to elevate those who do not have one. Valparaiso is a special place. A lot of the other candidates have already touched on that. But we can do better. Thank you.
We do have one. We do have one more candidate. I was just made aware that in error, Pam Schroeder was left off the list. So Pam is a Democratic candidate for the primary. So Pam, if you want to come forward. Pamela, okay, I will do that. We have
Thank you so much.
3 minutes.
Thank you. I understand. Everything that everybody said that was positive that I agree with. I'm unlike the other people here. I worked nonprofit my entire life. I owe no one anything. I pay all my bills because we were taught in Union Township, Wheeler High School, where I went to school, that one man, one vote, and you better honor that person's vote because that belongs to him. You better respect that person. And we were also taught so many things that we still live today by. Actually, I'm kind of an old school throwback to how the country was run years ago. And I'm unapologetic about that. I really love Valparaiso. I've lived here for 50 years, but I'm a county person by genealogy, Union Township, and anybody that knows me will give me a reference. Anything that anyone says about me is probably true. I'm a very eccentric. I'm an egghead. I've had my nose in a book in my entire life. Politics has been my passion since I was a child because I was born in 1945, and of course, we got television, and we were the television generation. And unlike the other children who were playing outside, I was watching the Senate Rackets hearings, the McCarthy hearings, and so that is the kind of person I am. Do not vote for me unless you think that I would be valuable to this community as this community has been valuable to me and everyone in it. I love Valparaiso. It is indeed the Vale of Paradise. Thank you very much.
Carmen didn't slip in unnoticed, did she? Okay, I want to make sure I didn't overlook her. Okay, well, I want to start by thanking the candidates once again for their participation. Please, we encourage you to stay and network with the candidates. There are refreshments in the back that you can help yourself to. Just a couple of housekeeping things. Early voting starts on Monday at 8:30 a.m. There are 2 early voting Valpo locations, obviously Porter County Administration Building downtown, also the Fire Training Center on Evans. Do check the times for early voting. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are different than Tuesday, Thursday, so check the times before you go. For those of you who like to vote on Election Day, the primary Election Day is Tuesday, May 2nd. Just so you know, and we talked to some people coming in, the vote centers for voting for primary, there's just a few less than there were for the general election. Out front, we do have a list of the primary vote centers. Also, you can go to porterco.org, or there is a sign out there. Scan a QR code, it'll take you to the page. So don't want you showing up at a vote center and it's not working for the primary. One last thing. I want to talk about Vote 411. Vote 411 is a nonpartisan League of Women Voters voter information site. We have cards on the desk out front. Please take 1 or 2, share them with your friends. There are many things you can do on Vote 411. First of all, register to vote. I'm guessing most people in this room are registered to vote. However, if you know someone who needs to register to vote, if they have a government ID, they can go online and register to vote online. You also can check your registration, and we highly recommend doing that before going to the polls every election. Make sure that you're still in there correctly. You can also learn more about your candidates who are on the ballot. All the candidates that are running for city office have been invited to answer questions, and if they respond, they will be posted on Vote 411, and you'll be able to pull that up and get to know them a little better. So please pick up a card and familiarize yourself with Vote 411. Again, thank you for coming, and please vote. Just wanted to say, please grab a cookie on the way out. I don't want to take them home.